Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, bringing you stats with Jack and everything else you need to know for tomorrow's game. If you want to be the most informed man in the pub or at the stadium with the stats and tactics about today's game, this is your show. Make sure you smash a like on the stream. But we are joined by co-host Jack. Jack, how are you keeping, my man?
Keeping very well, Dave. Honestly, I always look forward to Stats with Jack. It's kind of like I said, it's like presenting a book report, almost a project to the Harris Army, to the Flat Cap Army, and see whether they approve of it each week. This time we got a lot of stuff about the villains, got a lot of stuff about some of the players that might hurt us, but as well, we'll expose maybe how we might be able to expose them, Dave. So let's just crack into it. It's going to be another good Stats with Jack.
No, it will be. It will be. And look, it's a massive game. Don't underestimate it. It's a huge game, I think, for Nuno's future and for Tottenham going forward. So we need to get the win. Let's welcome some of the Harris Army and let's see who we have. We have Adam. He says, I do love an early Irish Hotspur Saturday stream. Big up, my man. And we're back at 9:30 as well with a preview towards the game as well. So I hope to see you back, Adam, my man. William Kenzie says, one of my favourite listening shows. Big up, guys. Big up, William. I hope things are well there down in Green, my man. And again, back at 9:30. Hope to see you here. Same as Tottenham Tantrum. Hope to see you here. Just big up, guys. Love the stats with Jack. Whatever we've all been through, we all love one thing, the mighty Spurs. Come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Flat Cap Army. Come on, you Spurs. And Dermot has also sent in a super sticker, and it's just a massive thumbs up. Big up, Dermot. I really appreciate that, my man. Zanuska Ramshunder, big up. Good to see you, Zanuska. Just can't wait to see all the great stats you've got. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Flat Cap Army. I love it.
She's a legend, Dave.
She is. Spurs mad as well. Absolutely Spurs mad. Para Miguel Escobardo says, big up, fam. Stats, attack. Come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Flat Cap Army.
Also another legend as well. Para Miguel Escobardo. You and Zanuska, I really do appreciate you both. Really do.
He's a legend. The regular says, big up, you guys. Come on, you Spurs. Big up the regular, my man. I hope things are well. Lazy 801 says, most informed and informed with Jack. 100%, man. I couldn't agree more. Big up, Nick. I hope things are well with you, brother. We also have Derek Hutchinson says, Nuno out. He doesn't want Nuno here anymore. Big up, Derek. Kuva99 says, hello all. Welcome to the best show hosted by Home Alone villains, Harry and Marv. You'll find on the internet. Big yourself up, my man. Look, Harry, I love Home Alone. I don't mind a bit of Harry and Marv as well. They're so stupid and they're funny. But so who's who? Kuva, you have to let us know who is who. Shmoo Van Spurs says double show today. Wow, yeah, 100%, my man. Doubling up today. And David says, stats with Jack. Let's go, Harris Army. Come on, you Spurs. Guys, if you think I'm not my usual self, I am a small bit sick today. So just bear with me. And don't worry, it's not COVID or anything related like that either. So don't worry about that. But Jack, look, let's take it away, my man.
Let's take it away as we usually do, Dave. Let's get into it. It is going to be Tottenham Hotspur versus Aston Villa in this match, as maybe we probably are all aware of. And we do start with the cold hard facts. Let's just zip right through them because I would say the cold hard facts this week, everybody, are not so great. Spurs are the lowest scoring team in the Premier League at home this season, obviously with Sonny being the our goal scorer this season along with Dele Alli. And then Aston Villa, though, in terms of cold hard facts, I mean, they do have some pretty scary injuries at the moment. Leon Bailey, a player plenty of us probably would have liked that Spurs have signed this summer, is actually out, I believe, until October 16th, I believe it is, David. I think it's some sort of ligament injury of some sort, but no matter what, he's not going to be able to play in this match, as well as one of their signings from last season, Morgan Sanson, the center mid, and then the Egyptian Trezeguet will also be out, the very hard-working player. So I would say, at least in terms of Trezeguet and Leon Bailey, those are pretty significant departures or absences, you might say, for this one. It probably does give us a bit of an easier time, you might say. Aston Villa have had 3 clean sheets in the Premier League this season. I think that's a very important stat. It's kind of, maybe as much as we love to say 3-0, 2-0, and whatnot, 4-0, it's hard to imagine because they have had some pretty spectacular clean sheets against the likes of United, against the likes of Everton as well, when you consider that. So we do have to take that into account, maybe when we're giving our score predictions. But nonetheless, we do have to, just maybe realize that this is going to be a tougher game, like maybe David was alluding to earlier. Head to head here, Spurs have won 10 of their last 12 matches versus Villa. 2 of those defeats, however, were at home for us. So I do believe that's a bit kind of disappointing when you think about it, especially one of those was that 1-2 loss, I believe it was, at home to Villa. And then as well, Spurs' record, though, in the Premier League against Villa, we have 64 wins, 32 draws, and 50 losses. So again, as much as we probably want to predict the 3-0s, the 4-0s, this has been a bit of a tight affair. It's two very historic Premier League sides. In fact, you might even say some of the founding fathers, you probably of the Premier League as well. And it's always been very, very tough amongst these two sides. Spurs have scored 245 goals in the Premier League against Villa, while Villa have scored 208. Nuno's record against Dean Smith, though, is 3 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. This is, it's quite funny, you might say, because the last few weeks we've done stats with Jack David. Nuno's record has, been quite decent against most managers. As I said before, he knows how to take a scalp, from another team. But hopefully, he's able to tune into maybe what he was able to maybe at Wolves or whatever, because it's kind of surprising how good his record is actually against other managers. Because I think so far, Mikel Arteta, Thomas Tuchel, maybe to bear in mind, quite decent records, before those losses. So it is a bit disappointing to see how it's gone. What do you think of that, David? I mean, another kind of decent record.
Yeah, look, do you know what? It's the one at the top that kills me, Jack, is losing to them at home. Like the last season, we made our home our fortress. We didn't lose at home all season at White Hart Lane. And to see us losing 2 of the defeats at home, you shouldn't really be dropping points at home. It's your fortress. You should be beating teams like Villa at home. And then, look, Nuno's record, 3 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. It's not a good record to have really against Dean Smith. 4 games where, he hasn't really got the performance that he's desired with the 2 draws and 2 losses. Look, Villa, they're a hard team to play against, Jack. They're a hard team to play against. In fairness, I'll give it to them. They all work hard and they work for the one cause.
Yep.
And that can be difficult to come up against. But look, we should be beating this Villa team. We have a super chat here from Dark Song G Jack. He says Galini, Rodin, Romero, Tanganga, Reggie, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Skipp, Emerson Royale, Gill, Son, and Scarlett. I want a 3-4-3. I want Kane, Tanguy, McCandy, Amoli, White, Sanchez, Lloris, and Devine as sub. What would you say to Dark Song G?
I don't doubt Dark Song G's tactics anymore, Dave. I don't really think I did before, but when I kind of was maybe a part of the majority thinking, some of these, maybe younger players that Dark Song G likes to play, or maybe not ready or whatnot. But I don't know. He's just continued to prove me wrong in that aspect. I do like that, he sees a Skipp being crucial, for this match. I think, we've lost, I believe, 2 of our biggest defeats, obviously, against the scum as well as Chelsea, with Skipp being missing from the side. So you do have to take that into consideration. I think Dark Song G plenty well knows that. Seeing Bryan Hill, I think, would be fantastic, especially maybe seeing some sort of, kind of pace up front in the likes of Scarlett and Son. I would probably say, again, though, Dark Song G, as much as I do want to see Scarlett maybe play in the Premier League at some point, I do think maybe if we were to rock that 3-4-3 or that 3-4-2-1 that you might be talking about, I think Son and Kane are actually quite deadly together, maybe. So that would be the only change I would probably make to that. But apart from that, David, I never want to doubt him again, because he's proven us wrong multiple times. So there you are, Dark Song G. I love the 3-4-3 shout, maybe a 3-4-2-1, or potentially a 3-4-1-2 as well. Maybe where we put Gio or Tanguy or something like that in the middle, or even Bryan Hill when you think about it, Dark Song G. So maybe let me know what you think of that 3-4-1-2 with actually Bryan Hill sitting in behind the likes of Son and Kane. So there you go, Dark Song G. Do let me know what you think of that. And I do like those subs, because maybe the one thing that you've proven us wrong on, again, is, it seems like Harry Kane likes to be an impact sub more than he does the starter this season.
Look, what I will say is I don't doubt Dark Song G. I never do. But look, I'll be honest with you. I think it'd be criminal to drop Kane after scoring a hat-trick midweek. It won't be good for his confidence. It won't send out a good message to the team, in my opinion, and I think it could end up costing Nuno his job. So I don't think he will do that. As far as the rest of the team, I'd say I'd probably agree with that, to be honest with you. The only change I would make, Dark Song G, is Kane for Scarlett, my man. But I fully understand why you're putting in Scarlett, my man. I fully understand that. And look, you've been right over the last while, so big yourself up. I really appreciate the support. Derek Hutchinson says, Jack, is it possible for you to give Nuno some pointers on what to do against Villa tomorrow? Because he could do with some help. Chris is in.
Probably could do with some help, Derek Hutchinson, but I know you could give him plenty of help as well, Derek Hutchinson. Like I said, the Flat Cap Army, the Harris Army are quite informed themselves in that regard. I like them as tacticians too. So that's why sometimes I'm trying to present my own, maybe kind of, like I said, almost book report, on the other team to you, Derek Hutchinson, and let me know maybe what grade you would give it at the end, because, I believe in you guys as tacticians as much as I believe in myself.
Yeah, 100%. Chris says, big up David and Jack, flying visit. At the moment, I'm at work. Be on later show. Big up, Chris.
Give
really
yourself up, Chris.
that, my man. Spurs 72, good to see you in the building,
Legend.
my man. How are you doing, Jack and David? Evening chat. Arsenal drew, let's win and go above them. I couldn't agree more.
Legend.
I think we have a Villa fan in here, says Villa have better history than you.
Like I said, I gave you a bit of respect, maybe the Villa fan in the audience, one of the founding fathers of the Premier League, one of the most historic sides in the Premier League. But, just take a look at that right there. Nuno has a better record than your manager, as well. In the Premier League, we have a better record. So, but at the same time, Villa are a very, very historic side and have had brilliant teams in history. And potentially, the gap could be kind of tightened, but I'd like to see us maybe grab that 65th win, tomorrow, maybe get a nice 15 win difference between us and the Villains, Dave.
100%. Hopefully, Dark Song G again with the super chat. Jack says the players I'm most afraid of for Villa is Martinez, the goalkeeper. I couldn't agree.
Yeah, he's a solid goalkeeper, and at the same time as well, if we were to get a penalty shout, we know he'd be playing the mind game, Stark Sunji. He'd probably getting in, maybe Harry Kane's head or Sonny's head. But when you think about it, if it is Harry Kane, maybe taking that penalty tomorrow, I'd probably say there's no chance of getting Harry Kane's head when taking a penalty. The guy is just so laser focused, only knows top ends, only knows upper V's, Dave, when he's trying to finish those penalty or bottom corner. I mean, Harry Kane puts it where he likes it when it comes to the pen. So all I can say, Dark Sunji, it's a great shout, in terms of the Villa player I'd be afraid of as well.
100%. Big up, big boss man in the building.
Legend.
My man, legend. What a legend. Keep up the good work, my man. Inga Marson says, what gets me about Nuno is he just stands there with his hands in his pockets or arms crossed, whatever. You saw Arteta last week, animated, shouting instructions. Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more with you. Inga Marson, my man. I couldn't agree more. Lex, morning, lads. Big up to both of you. Big up, Lex. Hope things are well. And big up to Aaron Dove in the building as well. Everyone, make sure you're smashing a like on the stream. Subscribe on the channel if you are new. I might not help support us with a super chat too. It really helps support the channel. But look, Jack, let's keep plowing along, my man.
Let's break down maybe Aston Villa's kind of system and formation and whatnot, guys. It's the part where I say, like, I've said before, it's almost the part where you hold your breath, going through a tunnel kind of situation. So maybe just let me know how you guys fare in it. This is kind of the lineup that they rocked against Manchester United last match. That 5-3-2, everybody was kind of potentially, likely seeing tomorrow as well. With Ezri Konsa playing that right-sided center back, where Tyrone Mings would be playing that left-sided center back in the back three. Instead of maybe House, Dave, it could be, Twanzebe, the former Manchester United center back. But this was, obviously the formation that they did rock last time against Manchester United and found a lot of success with it. Matty Cash is obviously someone that we do have to be plenty aware of. He's a very good bombing wing back, but as well, he does know how to get stuck in, I will admit. And then Jacob Ramsey, I believe his name is actually had a pretty solid start to the campaign so far. Has actually been, you might say, in terms of Douglas Luiz and McGinn, he likes to get forward a bit more because he's able to track back. He's very long and tall, knows how to be able to, maybe pick his moments for when to get in behind the defense. And as well, even join the attack with Watkins and Ings. So if they were to rock this, kind of 5-3-2. It's a lot of people have described it as a 3-4-2 or kind of a 3-4-1-2. I think it's, most of the time it really is a 5-3-2, as much as Aston Villa, might, be able to attack in more of a 3-4-2 kind of shape. You do have to consider that, or a 3-5-2 kind of shape, excuse me. You do have to consider that, this is going to be their defensive shape when, we'll try to break them down. And I do anticipate, hopefully, we'll have a bit more of the ball than them, especially considering we're at home. But if they were to rock a four in the back, this is how I could see it happening, David. I would see them doing more or less kind of the same center back partnership that we've been used to in the past with the likes of Tyrone Mings, with the likes of Ezri Konsa as well. But then it might be Douglas Luiz and John McGinn as maybe the holding midfielders. And then maybe Buendia, the new signing, who again is a fantastic signing, one of the best players in the championship last season, playing in the middle. Probably Bertrand Traore then playing as an inverted winger out right. And then, Anwar El Ghazi, playing a bit of an inverted winger out left. I would say pretty decent attack, actually, if they were to go to a 4 in the back. I would say maybe they've had a bit more success this season in terms of that 5 in the back or that 3-5-2 formation, which is pretty interesting because they are kind of, maybe as you can tell with this 4 in the back, omitting a lot of players that, are decent signings, and are also decent players for them, going forward. This is a much more attacking shape, probably much more creativity, but they haven't had a lot of success with it. They've actually had their worst performances playing as a 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 or 4-1-4-1. So I think that must be taken into consideration. Weirdly, they've had better results playing the 3-5-2.
Yeah, look, I think it all depends whether Dean Smith fancies his chances tomorrow, to be honest with you. Look, if he goes with the 4-2-3-1, that just goes to show what he thinks of Tottenham Hotspur, basically, that, he fancies himself. If he goes the other way like he did against United, Jack, with the 5 at the back, look, I get what you're saying. He is taking out some of his players, but look, to be honest with you, they actually look pretty impressive against United, I have to say, playing that sort of way. But that could just be against teams that maybe they feel like they'll be on the back foot against. Right. I'm not 100% sure. But look, it is widely, a lot of people are saying that they probably will go with the same team that played against United. I don't know. We'll wait and see. Look, the only other reason why I would say is if he does go with this team is I think he's played this this formation for his last 2 games, I'm almost sure.
Right.
And they've got 21 corners in the last 3 games. Playing, a lot of them have come playing this formation. And we know our Achilles heel is set pieces.
That's
corner
right.
kicks. Wolves, FC Mora, Chelsea. So far this season, I'm pretty sure there's another one in there that I'm missing. So if they go like this, they're going to be looking for corner kicks and they're just going to put them in on top of us. So that's what I would be worried about there. We'll just take a few more comments. THFC Max says, was here since you had 50 subs. Good to see you shine, man.
Big up.
Max, my man, I really appreciate the support and thank you so much for your continued support from the start till now, my man. It really is greatly appreciated. Jack Faz Radfar with the super chat. He says Reggie, Dyer, Romero, Royale, Skipp, Højbjerg, Ndombele, Son, Kane, and Lucas Moura tomorrow. What would you say to Fazzy?
I like it, to be honest. I think, I just like that people are maybe seeing the importance of playing Skippy and Højbjerg together. It seems like that's the best kind of way of getting the most out of Højbjerg because if you ask me, a lot of people could disagree. I could see both arguments in this, Dave, but I think Højbjerg is actually better served as kind of this box-to-box midfielder to a degree because he knows how to win the ball very, very high up the pitch, probably better than anyone else on our squad. And then as well, Højbjerg does have some of the most shot-creating action still in our entire team, which basically means some of the most chances created. So if I were able to maybe give Højbjerg a bit more freedom instead of maybe kind of burdening him as the holding midfielder or more even that destroyer, which I think just kind of limits his full capacity or limits his full ability. So I would say, having Skippy in the side, we're starting to realize that he's able to kind of Skippy being in the side gets the best out of Højbjerg, which I think is what we want personally. I think as well playing, the likes of Tanguy and Dele or like Gio and Dele or Gio and Tanguy at the same time just has proven not really to work this season. And I would be very, very disappointed if we were to see that again. I think we have to see Skippy and Højbjerg again. I like the Son Kane, combination, of course, and then maybe a bit of Lucas Moura, especially for the more sexuals out there. It's probably very nice to see him included there. And then Royale, actually, I will say, I'm not going to spoil anything with Royale, but Dave, I was checking on the stats of our squad today. That guy's already climbing up on a lot of things, I will say, which is actually quite impressive, I must admit. He's climbing up there. Don't want to read too much into that, but that guy is weirdly, already starting to get pretty high up in the stats, despite not playing very many minutes at all. So there you go.
Well, I don't doubt you, that's for sure. I definitely don't doubt you. Dark Song G says Dele, Catastrophe, and Easy Pass to be locked up for the win. Yeah, look, 100%. Look, I think if you see Dele and Ndombele in there or Dele and Lo Celso in there, I don't see it going our way. As Jack expertly answered, Fazzy, Skipp is crucial. Look, if Easy Pass is in there, forget about the game. Don't even tune in or watch it, to be honest with you. And same as Catastrophe. I couldn't agree more, Dark Sun G. They have to be locked up if we want to win tomorrow. Great comment, my man. Great comment. Rasta Country says, I'd be happy if Nuno doesn't play Dele. I think we all will, man. I think we all will. Dean Webb says, day off tomorrow, my truck is free if the defence want it. Yeah, look, bring it round to the entrance to the stadium, Dean. We definitely will need it. So make sure you just bring it around and put it out there. I look forward to seeing it.
If you have a bus as well, we could use that, maybe too, we could park it somewhere if you need, but there you go. Big yourself up. Good comment.
Yeah, what a legend. And Dark Sun G says, now is the time to use youths to show fight. No more head down after conceding first. With youths, they will regenerate the team. Skipp, Roden, and Romero a must. Look, I'm just going to be short and sweet on this. Look, I agree. Look, going one down is a massive, massive problem for Tottenham at the moment. Look, it's a massive problem. It goes one down, the heads drop, we go two down, and then, we're three down before people even try and make, sort it out and make something happen. I agree with you. Look, maybe a few youths. I actually do agree with you. Look, youths will regenerate the squad. Hopefully, it might regenerate a bit of effort from some of the players as well, my man, because, Look, it's clearly lacking at the minute. But the reason why, especially last season, I think it was lacking is because they were guaranteed their starting spot no matter what, because there was no one else there. But look, bringing in some of the youths, I'm happy Nuno's brought in Skipp. I'm happy he's brought in Tanganga. I'm happy Scarlett's in and around the first team. But look, I on this as well, with Roden and Romero, I actually believe that should be our partnership going forward. I've stated it many, many times. That's the one I want to see. And hopefully I see it. And just like Jack was saying, Skipp is crucial. He is crucial in the midfield. And you only notice what he doesn't bring when he's missing. A lot of people before he got dropped were saying, oh, well, what does Skipp do? This, that, and the other. I've been trying to tell them he's put in there to do a job. His job is to sit in front of the back four, turn the ball over, win it, and give it to a person to make something happen. And people wanted to give out about it. He didn't play against Arsenal. He came on, and look at the difference he made. He's undroppable from now on, I feel, in that midfield. But Jack, what would you say to Dark Sun G, man?
I think you covered it really well, David, but maybe the part that I would also add to it is just I like his inclusion of Rodon, Dave, because, I've said this before, Dark Sun G, it seems like Rodon is just really good at being able to just handle stuff, when it all goes wrong, when no one else is playing well. He weirdly seems to always step up as being maybe the best player on the pitch. Of course, we don't want that to be the situation where no one else is playing well, but that's what I kind of like about Joe. He seems to not be affected by the mood of other players. His head never drops, you might say. When we go down, he's kind of the one that, continues to bark at his players, and he's still quite young when you think about it. He's also, only been, a year and a half into the squad at this rate. Barely even that. And you had to consider his leadership abilities are actually quite strong. His character is quite strong when you would also say that. And then I said this before, maybe quickly, Dark Sun G, while you were, taking a quick break, from the poor results, I said, something with the youth, even if they don't believe in Nuno's message, some of the other players, with the youth that they actually have to prove something. They have to, be able to prove something to either themselves, for their career, for the manager to get more playing time, for the fans or whatnot. They have so much to prove, and where maybe other players in the squad feel like they don't have anything left to prove, or they're kind of just, they can't be asked, you might say. And so when you consider it in that way, I think that's why the youth are always a good option, because they're going to want to be able to run for the club, to fight for the club, to fight for the badge, especially at home. They probably will just have endless motors. The youth, you would also consider that maybe, technically might not be the best in the squad, but they'll make up for it in a lot of other ways. And I know Dark Sun G knows that.
No, 100%. And THFC Max asks Jack, where do you think Spurs should focus to exploit them?
There'd be a perfect slide for it. Believe me, there's literally the perfect slide for that. Just you wait. And it actually is going to be even coming in the Aston Villa section of this breakdown here. So it's going to come to you a bit sooner rather than later, probably. THFC Max. Big yourself up.
Everyone, make sure you are smashing that like button, smashing that subscribe button. The viewers, they're going up by the minute, guys. So make sure everyone is smashing that like button. It's a great help for me and Jack. And why not? Like Dark Sun G, thank you so much, man. And Faz, I really appreciate it. And Dermot, of course. Why not send in a super chat or two to help support two of your favorite YouTubers? But look, Jack, let's keep plowing on, my man.
Let's get through this villain section, Dave. Let's just get through it. In the case of Matty Cash, he does have, I would say, this is kind of funny. I picked, we do a key player always, and we do an unsung hero, of course. I would say they could almost kind of flip-flop in both situations, because, I'm not too in tuned with the Birmingham faithful, or, with the villain faithful, Dave. So, maybe they might say that, he's the unsung hero, maybe Matty Cash, or maybe he is the key player. But all I can say is I think we're plenty where, we know plenty about Ollie Watkins. We know plenty about Danny Ings as well. and I just kind of went for a bit more outside shouts, I would probably say. Also because I like to, be kind of nerding out about the stats. And I will tell you, I mean, Matty Cash certainly leads in a lot of stats. Most ball recoveries, which is basically just any loose ball around the pitch. He has the most in the entire squad with 58 ball recoveries. He also has the highest percentage of dribblers tackled. And I would say about Matty Cash, he's definitely improved his ability going forward this season. But he's also, I think last season what he proved is that he does know how to get stuck in. That's what I kind of appreciated about him. That's why, to a degree, I kind of even wanted him if we could have gone after him. Probably would have been very expensive and unrealistic, but I really liked him for that aspect because he seems to be actually, and I even think I said it once on flatcapeurotalk or something, Dave, I actually thought he was literally one of the best fullback defenders in the entire league last season, just in terms of defensive capabilities. I think he's actually one of the best. One I do rate very highly. And I think the highest dribblers tackle percentage is just very key to that. I mean, that's actually quite startling because you look at that percentage dribblers tackled, then you also see that he has the most tackles won. So, he's just a guy that does know how to get stuck in. He doesn't just throw a loose challenge every now and again. He knows how to win the ball. He also has the most interceptions as well, which he then can realize that means he has the most tackles plus interceptions combined in the entire Villain squad. And then as well, he does have the most crosses with 17, the most progressive carries in the entire squad, which is my favorite stat in the whole world, with 25 progressive carries, someone that carries the ball 10 yards or more forward up the pitch. And then as well, he has the most touches in the attacking third with 102. I mean, if you ask me, it kind of shows to a degree that Matty Cash has been a huge focal point for them in terms of their ability to go forward, their ability to, get stuck in when they need to. He's able to do a job against some of the best strikers, if not wingers in the Premier League. It does maybe bring a bit of worry to me about Sonny because we know Sonny will be going up against him. But I think that all that means is that we're going to need to give Sonny a bit of support. The likes of Region is going to need to have a good game because he's going to need to make Matty Cash's life a bit harder, especially if they do rock that 5-3-2 kind of formation, that 3-5-2 formation. Matty Cash, he'll probably be in kind of the best mode where he'll be able to kind of sit in with lots of support beside him, but then also maybe go forward as well and still be able to kind of cause a lot of damage. So I would say Matty Cash is certainly a key player for Villa. I mean, any comments maybe on this or before we move to the unsung hero, Dave?
No, just look, Matty Cash is a very good player defensively and going forward. I have to say he's decent in all areas. So I would say watch out for him going forward, Jack. He puts a good ball into the box and he has a good shot on him as well. So for me, I definitely would watch out for him tomorrow. He's quick as well. He's rapid. He is rapid down that right-hand side. And look, with Regulon bombing forward, who knows if he can turn over the ball or he can get, he can take off. It could be a lot of trouble for us tomorrow. Look, Regulon has his hands full tomorrow. That's what I'm going to say there. He's a very good player, Matty Cash. I really like him. And, look, when he went to Villa, I probably would have took him as well. I think he came from Forest, if I'm not mistaken.
That's where your expertise comes into play, Dave. I
think it was Nottingham Forest, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
Even at Forest, he was making a very good name for himself there as well. A lot of clubs are after him. Villa done well to get him in, I have to say.
Yeah, and he's also replaced, the Villains, best haircut. Of course, that went to Jack Grealish before, and now it's gone to Matty Cash. He's replaced, everything that, Jack Grealish was trying to do in terms of the looks. So he's also now a fresh Poland international, I believe, as well. So there you go, everybody. I mean, that's the full Matty Cash coverage right there.
You said Poland international?
Yeah, he's switching to a Poland international.
Why?
I don't think he doesn't. I think his mother might be Polish or his father might be Polish. I'm not too sure, but there were rumors, I think, from Fabrizio Romano I saw on, some of the tweets. I get notified for that, Dave, and they were saying that, Matty Cash, in fact, is just willing to switch to a Poland international so he can get more game time.
Oh, wow. Geez, you learn something new every day. What I will say, Matty Cash, if you're watching, if there's any Irish in there, let me know. I'll hook you up with the Ireland FA. We need you. Dark Sun
Any grandmothers in there, maybe, or, grandfathers, yeah.
The grandmother rule. That's where most of our players come from, lad. The grandmother rule. Dark Sun G21 with the Super Chat Jack says, after tomorrow to face Syria, or after tomorrow, Sun is off to face Syria and Iran. I hope for no injuries after this break. Hopefully, Romero will be ready for United after the break. What I will say is I think there's something in place for the Argentinians where they go away. They are able just to come back, go straight into training and play matches now. So that's that off the jar. It's huge for us because it means Romero, Lo Celso, Sanchez will have to go through the crap and then go to Croatia again. And I agree with you, Dag Sung Ji. Coming out of this one with no injuries is crucial for us. It's absolutely crucial for us, my man. Jack, do you want to say anything to Dark Sunji?
Dark Sun G, let me know how. I mean, like we said, we broke down, some of the fantastic players already that the Korean national team have. You have that fantastic center back Kim Min Jae, as they nicknamed the Monster, for a very good reason. Also, Lee Kang-in, I would like to see maybe feature a bit more. I know he's only still so young. He's Brian Hill's age, and only by, I think he's actually older or younger by like 8 days or something like that. So he and Brian Hill are actually quite similar to each other. I think he's 20 years old, Lee Kang-in. So let me know, just for my own interest and, kind of maybe my own nerdship, you might say, Dave. I want to see whether, Lee Kang-in is actually being called up for this squad, Dark Sun G. But with Sonny, I think Iran is going to be the tough test. I would assume they do have some decent players. Iran, of course, it's not, 1 to 11 very good players, but I would say they have some good players going forward. And there's some decent players to a degree that, are around Europe's top 5 leagues, even outside of Europe's top 5 leagues, that are Iranian, are actually quite decent players. So I would say that might be your tougher match. Maybe play Sonny in that one. Don't play him against Syria. I would think you guys have it plenty well wrapped up against Syria.
Yeah. And Jackie also says, after Hwang scored a double
today, tell him
I need Sonny to score one.
He already knew probably, but that Wang Hee-chan scored today. But those, I would say that first finish that he had, Dark Sun G, was just class. It really was class. He actually showed real composure with it. A beautiful side-footed finish, Dave. Just really cushioned it into the bottom. It wasn't even the bottom corner. It kind of, almost nicked it off the post and in, on the floor as well. It was a beautiful slip-through ball from Raul Jimenez. And then a beautiful finish from Wang Hee-chan. I would say also as well, even for Raul Jimenez's sake, he probably loves having Wang Hee-chan next to him, Dark Sun G, because finally somebody that he can rely on to finish, apart from the likes of Adama Traore and whatnot. So I would just say that signing of Wang Hee-chan, brilliant signing. And he looked ecstatic to be scoring in front of the Molyneux as well. So I would just say Wang Hee-chan is brilliant to see. I'm glad he didn't do it against us. But now I wish him all the best, Dark Sun G. He's honestly doing great. It's great to see.
I'd say Dark Sun G, was jumping up and down on the bed, running through doors, cutting open his pillows, throwing duck feathers everywhere. Absolutely good day for Dark Sun G. Going nuts, my man. Absolutely appreciate the support. What a guy. And Gaguma says we must keep high intensity tomorrow. Go Spurs. Gaguma, I couldn't agree more. Look, from the first minute, I don't want to do it from 15, 20 minutes in. From the minute number 1-0, we have to be at it from the off. We have to be at it from the off with the right attitude and the right intensity. If not, it's game over before we even get going, Gaguma. I can tell you that now. Because when and they better do it. They better do it after the North London Derby defeat. They better come out with the right attitude and intensity tomorrow, Gaguma. I couldn't agree more. Really appreciate the support, Gaguma. Top woman, Gaguma. And I hope things are well with you as well. Hope things. Where are you from, Gaguma? Let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're from, Gaguma. Dark Sun G says, our head coach calls players not in form is why I want him sacked. He doesn't call Kang-in Lee, but calls an extra goalkeeper. So we have 4 goalkeepers in the squad. I don't understand that one, Dark Sun G, to be honest with you.
David, even under Gaguma's comments, said the same thing. Seems like, Dark Sun G, it seems like you guys are just well pissed. It seems like that's what David was saying under Gaguma's comment there, saying that you guys must be infuriated with the fact that they're not picking the players that they should be, especially with that goal you had against Real Madrid, which just was absolute class. And I will say as well, Dark Sun G, I almost threw my phone across the room because this one American analyst that I just really do just despise sometimes said that, it was actually an easy finish for Lee Kang-in and that goal that he had for Real Madrid. And I was like, as if he's ever scored a goal like that in his entire life, that analyst. So just thought that was just the biggest disrespect I've ever seen. But really, I would say Lee Kang-in, that is a crime not to put that guy in there. I mean, David and I, we obviously were given the guttural noises jumping out of our chairs for, the highlight reaction video, which is done incredibly. But I would say that guy is just a baller. The guy is just a baller. He has so much flair. He's only 20 years old again, Dave, Kang-in Lee. So I would just say I'm just looking forward to watching him even more. I'd like to see him maybe move to the Premier League or, maybe use this Mallorca situation, to maybe propel himself to a bigger club after that, Dark Sun G, because that guy is a baller. That guy is just filthy to watch. He is filthy to watch. So Dark Sun G, it's just a crime, I would say. It seems like he doesn't pick any of these players off of merit or doesn't pick any of these players off of, recent form, or doesn't even want to pick the best 11. I mean, like I said, Dark Sun G, I would probably hire you, of course, for the Spurs dugout, but maybe you could also, if I had any connections, I would hire you as well for the Korea FA.
No, look, the guy's an absolute player. He has a serious pass on him. And for that alone, I don't understand why he's not in the team, Dark Sun G. Look, maybe you should take over, my man. Maybe you should take over. Gaguma says she's from Seoul. Big up, Gaguma. Big up. I've never been. What's it like? I've never had the... I'm not a well-travelled man, to be honest with you. I've been to a few places in Europe and that, but I would like to know what it's like, so do let me know. Spurs 72 says, I hope no more international debacle and the Argentine lads stay 100% healthy. Also, Bergwijn better not get injured on this break if he plays. Look, the Argentina debacle, the South American thing, that's over and done with. They can go play, come back, train, and play matches straight away. The English government to put in some sort of thing anyway. I'm not 100% on it, but it's all done and dusted. We won't have that problem, so don't worry about that. The only thing I will say is I do hope to come back 100% healthy, my man. I really do. Look, I'll be honest. I'll be surprised if Bergwijn features. He's been out for the last 4 games with a twisted ankle. I'll be very, very surprised if he features, and if he does, well, then the guy's just an idiot, to be honest with you. But look, Jack, what's your thoughts to Spurs 72?
I'm very actually delighted to see that, there's this kind of diplomatic situation that's been somewhat resolved in terms of these Argentinian players. I would even say, to Spurs 72, and also big yourself up, real legend. Appreciate, again, all the support that you give both channels, Spurs 72. Really do appreciate it. But I'm actually quite relieved by it all. I really am. I think especially because I was worried that, any momentum that, let's say, Gio might build on from the last match or even potentially this next match, and then as well as Christian Romero, has been, kind of building as well. I would just hate to see it all go to waste again. We have to wait for them to come back into the squad, so late into proceedings. So I would just say it's actually a huge situation. Makes sense though. I mean, they're very catered to players. I mean, they don't have to go through the same checks and whatnot. They live in very kind of, let's say to a degree, bubbled lives, already. So it makes a lot of sense that they get a bit of like special kind of I don't know, like a agreement, you might say, just for them. Quite relieved it's the case. And then as well, like David said, I mean, if Steven Bergwijn were to go to be called up for the Dutch national team, I would just be, I wouldn't understand. Really wouldn't understand unless he's going there for holiday, just hanging out with his buddies and whatnot. There's no reason he should play if he's already missed this many matches so far. So there's no reason he should play.
Couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Thank you, Spurs 72. I really appreciate the support, man. You're too kind. Really appreciate it. And great comment as well. Emily Dunn says, will you give Iris's son a shout out? His channel is Jorge Vlogs. Yeah, of course, no problem. First of all, hi Emily, hi Iris. I hope you're enjoying your night. I hope you're having a good time. And guys, everybody get over to Jorge Vlogs here. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. If not,
maybe Jorge, Dave. Yeah.
Yeah, look, if not, I'm dyslexic and I get away with it anyway, so that doesn't matter. But yeah, exactly here. Type in Jorge Vlogs, guys, and get over there and smash the subscribe button and help Iris' son out. Who doesn't want to help Iris' son out? So make sure you get over there and smash that subscribe button. And girls, what I'll say to you is don't get too pasted. Enjoy yourself. Well, actually, fuck it. Go for it. Get pasted. Who cares?
Enjoy it. Saturday night, Dave. And, especially before a Spurs match, you got to probably, use maybe tonight, to, if you're ever going to hurt the brain cells tonight, probably be tonight. Don't do it tomorrow after maybe the result. Even if it's a win tomorrow, I would say soak in that win. Don't forget it like I usually would do. I would just say use tonight. Use tonight as maybe you're not off for sure.
100%. You enjoy yourselves, girls. Enjoy yourself. And Tottenham Tantrum says, would you play Gil behind as a cam? 100%, Dermot. I've been saying it all along. I said it since I first seen the guy. When I saw his face, I said, I'm a believer. And for me, I also said, look, I think long-term he will be a cam. I know he said he prefers playing out on the left, but he's too young to know his real position. Daddy Dave knows, and it's a cam. Trust me, it's a cam. This guy will end up playing there in the future. It's just with the spaces he picks up, the way he moves, I think he's absolutely brilliant. I like the way he moves. Love it. Big up Tottenham Tantrum. Big yourself up, Dermot. Really appreciate the support, my man. But look, let's keep cracking on, Jacko. Let's
crack on even further. Again, please everybody hold your breath, for some of these. But the unsung hero I picked for the villains is actually Douglas Luiz. And I do think that's because Douglas Luiz is a bit of an underrated tempo setter in their side. He actually has a very good passing ability on him. He has decent movement, knows how to show for the ball quite well. Some people I think have not rated him. I don't necessarily, highly rate him or anything, but I do think he's actually done quite a decent job so far for the villains. And he has the most shot creating actions with 16. That's a very, very good stat. In fact, that's, I think, more than most players on our Spurs side, even as well, when you consider that as well. He has second most goal creating actions with 2 so far. That's just, I think, slightly below Region in terms of goal creating actions. So maybe this season, Douglas Luiz has been able to not really find that end product, but he's been able, David, to be that guy who's like the pass to the assist, or the pass to the assist, the guy who can open up the play, open up the lines a bit with, a bit of vision. So we have to take that into consideration. He's a very dangerous player for them in that regard. He also has the most passes completed under pressure, which is a fantastic stat. So when people are kind of hounding on him, people are trying to pull his shirt and everything, he's still able to find the pass, still able to open up play with 41 passes completed under pressure, the most key passes as well. And a key pass is basically, like I said, it's like a pass to an assist. It's like a pass that opens up the play. It's a pass that kind of just changes maybe the lines of the defense, opens things up, with already 9 key passes so far this season. Second most assists so far this season with 2. And then as well, he does have also the highest long passes or the most long passes completed, with 32 so far. And then he also has the highest expected assists per 90 with 0.8. It just shows, Dave, he's actually a bit more of a creator this season. He actually is able to open up play a bit more than maybe people would expect. And even as well, when you take that into consideration, some of these stats, I don't think that was really the case for him last season, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he had anywhere close to these sort of numbers to begin the season or even finish the season. So Douglas Luiz, to a degree, has maybe become just a better player this season. Maybe he's given more responsibility. I'm not quite sure, but the guy is certainly doing a lot better this season and maybe being able to open up play for Aston Villa.
No, look, he's a very good player, Jack. From what I've seen of him over, especially last season, the season before that. Look, he gets stuck in, but this guy has a wicked shot on him. He has a wicked shot on him. He has to be closed down. But he's a very good player, Jack. He's the all-round midfielder. Gets stuck in. He does the physical side of the game. He does the dirty side of the game and the side that no one wants to do. But he can also create and shoot. For me, I think it's a very good acquisition by Aston Villa. And look, he's him and John McGinn. They're 2 of the main reasons why the Aston Villa midfield works so hard, and a lot of teams have trouble coming up against it. Look, in terms of most key passes, look, it just shows we're going to have to close him down quickly when he gets the ball. Spell second with most assists, close him down quickly. It's that simple. As soon as this guy gets the ball, I want Skippy in there crunching him.
Somebody has to block off even the angles, the line of sights or vision for him. We want to make him pass sideways, I guess, is, a thing for, but he can control the tempo, and we're going to be able to show that actually with maybe some of the threats, I would say, with Aston Villa. But I think David just hit it right there. Just the fact that he is kind of somebody that can hit it from distance. He can get stuck in, he can also open up the play. 2 degrees, an all-around midfielder, and he's also been able to, partner, John McGinn very, very well. They have a very strong midfield. Those 2 can run the park, Dave.
No, 100%. They definitely can run the park, and that's why it's so important for us to get in there and amongst them tomorrow. And that's why it's so important for us to actually just work hard tomorrow, Jack. Work hard. Be at the races, as they'd say. I don't want to, and that's why it's so important to start quick, because these will start quick tomorrow. Make no mistake about it. They will start quick. They will look to get at us early. So that's why I was saying earlier on, it's very, very important we have the right mentality and right attitude going into this game tomorrow.
Definitely. Well said, Dave. Well said. And so everybody, we're now going to break down how do Aston Villa attack here. And in terms of, maybe the first one, I think that is obvious, is just that Danny Ings threat. Danny Ings has fantastic movement. If you've looked at any of Aston Villa's goals this season, he's been, kind of the guy that has opened it up with either getting in behind the defense, drifting, away from maybe the center backs, pulling one away. Just has very intelligent movement. I would maybe say it's cheap man's Harry Kane, to a degree, Dave, in that regard, very, very intelligent in that sense. And being able to maybe manipulate his defenders, but he also works very hard, Danny Ings, and works very, very hard off the ball as well to create that movement, which is also must be credited.
Say it, Jacko. I'm loving the graphics, lad. I'm loving the graphics.
Appreciate it, Dave. Appreciate it. And so we don't have to dive too much in. I will say maybe, unless people maybe disagree, the animations that I kind of created for this Stats with Jack, I'm actually maybe not too proud of. They do take a bit of time, everybody, but in this animation, it's just maybe Danny Ings, creating a bit of space here, kind of actually losing his man Eric Dyer in this situation. It also just comes from actually Ollie Watkins, and we must remember that if they are working together, Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings, they're actually a fantastic strike partnership. Even last season as well. A lot of people do rate Che Adams season from last season, but then it also just says a lot about Danny Ings, where David, he actually has a lot of experience working alongside another striker. He's quite comfortable, being in kind of a two striker setup, and so I would say that again makes Danny Ings very dangerous because he can play on his own as a striker, but he can also be able to work alongside another striker very, very, very easily and very comfortably. So it must be something that, we take into consideration, that Danny Ings is, just movement is just very, intelligent. He also has a very good touch on him. That's why I'm trying to highlight here with, him kind of dragging away Dyer and then coming back into the top of the 18 and then just, maybe taking it with an outside the foot touch here, maybe, and losing his man, and then just tries to curl it top ends here. Hopefully it doesn't happen at all. I would just say, with Danny Ings, it's just somebody that we do have to recognize. He works very hard off the ball, knows how to create space for himself. And he's practically been, kind of the ways that, if any of the ways that Villa have scored from open play this season, it's come basically through Danny Ings most times as well. So we just have to take that into consideration. If they do score, it's probably going to be something that Danny Ings did.
No, look, with Danny Ings, Jack, look, he loves a goal against Tottenham, to be fair. He usually puts one in against us. But the difference with Danny Ings is he can score out of nothing. He can literally score out of nothing. Look, Ollie Watkins, I actually don't think he scored this season so far.
Nope.
But his link-up play is very good. It's very good. And look, we have to be on our guard tomorrow. But what I will say is, don't worry about Danny Ings. Romero's going to sort him right out.
That's why I had in this situation. Maybe they just get switched up a bit. Maybe Moon Boots is guarding him in this situation. I would just say also with Dark Sun G, he wanted Joe Rodon to be playing maybe instead of Eric Dyer here, which I completely agree with. I would actually be quite happy and satisfied with that. And I'd probably say maybe Joe Rodon, probably wouldn't let this happen. So I think that's also maybe a good thing to take into consideration. Dark Sun G would probably be able to prevent this sort of opportunity for sure.
No, 100%. And Vince Vega, he's a new YouTube member. Big yourself up, man. And I hope to see you on the fan show every single Monday. So I hope to see you Monday. Big up, my man. And big shout out to Killian Kenny. There's your usual shout out, my man. And THFC Max says Jack deserves more recognition. The graphics look great and it makes sense.
Appreciate you, THFC. And also, I would just say that slide that you're talking about is still coming. It's still coming. Believe me, we'll be able to point out, and it's going to be highlighted in green, little areas that we want to exploit. So big yourself up, THFC Max. Moving on to Ollie Watkins here. Ollie Watkins, it's something about him where it's his work rate. He really presses very, very hard. If you think Danny Ings presses hard, without the ball, I mean, Ollie Watkins, that guy just doesn't stop running, in that regard. That's the part about him that I do actually appreciate. He just knows how to put pressure on the center backs, doesn't make their life easy ever. Even if he's having a bad game, he just somehow is just such a nuisance. As well, he has decent movement as well. And he actually is very good at even having a good hold-up play. I think that's probably an underrated element of his game. Of course, we know that he can be slipped in and behind, but he's able to always chest the ball, Dave, in quite decent situations. He knows how to knock the ball down as well. I would just say Ollie Watkins is something that, again, just must be taken into consideration. Those two strikers and their work rate, their movement is actually quite intelligent. And it's also, to a degree, just so hardworking. And it's probably the two hardest working strikers, I might even say, in the Premier League. Maybe I might go that far. They just really, those two are quite well known for their ability to make the center backs or our center backs or any center backs in the league just life very difficult. They always, run off the ball. They're always like trying to look for a ball in behind. They're always trying to hold up play. And then when the center backs, have the ball themselves, they're always pressing them. They're always sprinting right at them and trying to make it difficult. So I would just say Ollie Watkins, that's what we're going to have two different slides here for them. And I think we don't have to play them too much, but one of them in this situation is actually just Eric Dyer getting kind of caught off the ball here. And Ollie Watkins just basically slips it to Jacob Ramsey, who then plays it across goal to Danny Ings. It's just in this situation, they're pressing us clearly very high. Eric Dyer maybe tries to do something a bit silly or maybe a bit casual. And then, they just kind of square it to Danny Ings. Not too complicated, kind of actually quite elementary when you think about it. But I could see this happening because Ollie Watkins, he definitely could move the ball high up the pitch. Believe that. He's almost a bit like, maybe understand this reference, but we see Erling Haaland sometimes. That guy really likes to press the center backs, try to win the ball from them, maybe cause a mistake. And Ollie Watkins, I would say, does that to an even better ability than someone like Erling Haaland or whatnot. So I would just say somebody that really knows how to press the center backs and make their life difficult. And that's all that this is really trying to highlight.
No, look, you're giving me nightmares before I've even got to sleep, Jack. Look, you can already see Eric Dyer, flapping a pass under pressure. And look, we've been caught with it before a few times. So, look, it doesn't really fill me with confidence. But, look, Ollie Watkins, he's a very hard worker. I don't want to see anyone dilly-dallying on the ball when he's pressuring them. If they are, I would haul them straight off if I was Nuno. Look, Ollie Watkins, he's a very difficult customer. I know he hasn't scored so far yet in the Premier League, but they're up against Dr. Tottenham tomorrow. Players who seem to come in completely out of form seem to get their goal against Tottenham. And hopefully we can stop that from happening tomorrow.
Yeah, and the other...
He's had a very good rise, Ollie Watkins, from Brentford to the Premier League. And he took to the Premier League like a duck takes the water. So I have to say, he's been good.
He's been very good. And the other animation that we have here for Ollie Watkins is just, what I maybe was talking about, his hold-up play, his ability to kind of maybe drag defenders, even in fact, just chest the ball and kind of, maybe hold up the ball in situations where maybe not a lot of strikers could. He's also very strong. We must say that also as well. He's very, very, very strong. Doesn't really get bullied too much. And so that's what this is trying to show, really, is just Tyrone Mings, who, in fact, if they do that three in the back, Tyrone Mings is going to be the one that's actually going to be really going forward a lot. He actually likes to get pretty far forward. He's the one that's maybe a bit of a libero in that sense. But I would just say, in this situation, it's just Tyrone Mings playing a bit of a long ball, bit route one, to the flanks, to Ollie Watkins. And he does actually quite well in these areas when he actually is a bit wide. He just is, I think he has some of the most take-ons, some of the most dribbles completed, I think, in his entire squad as well. So he's not too bad at skinning his defender. And then in this situation, it's just, he kind of just shoots it into Lloris's chest, when trying to cut inside. I actually would say very, very likely to see this sort of kind of animation maybe, or to, this sort of chance, being created. But I would say Lloris would probably be able to catch it, or, hold on to it, or even Romero might get stuck in at one point here. But they definitely will go for this approach where, they might try to bypass Matty Target and then just give it to Watkins. And then from there, Watkins will try to make something happen.
No, 100%. Gaguma with the super chat here. Jackos, it's great to know what players to watch out for, Jack. I will keep my eye out. But I hope Romero and Roden stop them.
Yeah, I really do hope so. And I also would like that shout out from Dark Sun G as well as Yuka Guma here in terms of, seeing Joe Roden. I think Joe Roden might actually have a better time against the likes of Danny Ings and Ollie Watkins than maybe Eric Dyer would, because Eric Dyer, we do know, is kind of he can get kind of caught for pace. He can kind of get bullied as well, Dave, sometimes at times, we think when we consider that. And I think Joe Roden, he's kind of a bit more no nonsense, kind of more focuses on the defending aspect and not as much, building out the back and, trying to dictate play. And so, of course, we might lose something in terms of our creative ability, but I would just say, I think Joe Roden would probably get stuck in a bit more than, the rest of the defenders. And personally, I think that's exactly what I want to see. But yeah, these two players, I think it just goes without saying, though. I think we all know that Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings, especially if played together, are the real threat for sure.
Look, what I would say is just for pace alone and for someone who won't switch off, I'd rather Roden in there than Dyer. Dyer switches off, he's caught for pace, they're in. It's that simple. And Dyer does tend to switch off 1 or 2 times per game. So I think we should be playing Roden. Gaguma, really appreciate it. Absolute legend. Big yourself up. Guys, I meant to say, while we have 100 people watching right now, we'll be starting a group chat on WhatsApp for all the followers of the channel. So, guys, email me your number or whatever. Just Twitter it or whatever. Get in contact with me. Give me your number if you want to be a part of the group chat. We can all go in there and we can all be one big Irish Hotspur family together. Big up, Gaguma. Really appreciate the support, love. Really appreciate it. Anyone else who wants to, get a super chat in, feel free to. If not, just make sure you smash that like button on the stream and the subscribe button on the channel as well, guys. But look, Jack, let's keep moving on.
Let's keep moving on here. This next one is going to be maybe what even David was actually talking about. And believe this, guys. I mean, David, like he said before, and he's powering through right now. It's just unfortunately he's a bit under the weather. But actually, David has done a great job in actually predicting what one of these animations would be, which would be actually Douglas Luiz kind of shot from outside the box. He has a brilliant shot from outside the box that was recognized by David before he hasn't seen these animations, everybody. So I will say, well predicted by Dave. Well predicted by Dave. This one is going to be what I kind of call, Dave, the two tempo setters. And again, you were also talking about this, where John McGinn and Douglas Luiz are actually fantastic midfielders. They're kind of all around midfielders. They can kind of do a bit of everything. Really strong workhorses. In this situation, it's just them playing Matty Cash in behind here, kind of working the midfield, of course. John McGinn making a bit of a late run, bit of Ollie Watkins kind of hold up play. Matty Cash maybe cuts it back to John McGinn, who then cuts it back on his left foot. John McGinn is left footed and gives it to Douglas Luiz, who tries to curl it into the top bins here. It's just maybe, again, not too complicated here. I would say this animation, maybe not too much to be explained, but it really is just something that must be taken into consideration, everybody. I do rate John McGinn and Douglas Luiz, especially together. I think they're brilliant. I think they are actually some of them, maybe the most underrated, kind of midfield combination in the Premier League. They kind of just do every kind of job. They do the dirty work. They do the tempo setting. They can kind of just run the park, as maybe we said before. So I think it must be taken into consideration. We could just maybe see potentially, and I would hate to see it, some sort of maybe crack from distance from either John McGinn or, Douglas Luiz, and also just be them just kind of, dictating the flow, dictating the tempo of the game. And again, go back to the stats on Douglas Luiz. Most shot creating actions, most chances created basically out of any player in the entire Aston Villa squad. So this is actually quite realistic when you think about it.
Yeah, no, 100%. Look, there's not more I can add to it that I won't be repeating myself on what I said earlier on these two, to be honest with you, Jack.
There it is.
I've been to see this. He says he'd love to join the group, man. All my email address, social medias, everything is in the description below the video along with Jack's. So, guys, make sure you do get in contact.
Vincent, I love Joe Rodon. He's the future. Big fan of Skippy. Love to see that. Also, welcome to the Harris Army as well, Vince Vega. Big yourself up as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Do appreciate you. But guys, this is going to be how Aston Villa defend, and maybe THFC Max, if you're still with us here, this is your slide. This is your slide. So this is how I would say they defend. I'm kind of highlighting in green here, the areas where we would like the ball, Max, and then the red is actually areas where they're going to try to have us have the ball. This is where they would like us to have the ball. It kind of makes a bit of sense because we were kind of speaking about how Danny Ings and Watkins are very hard workers. So if we find ourselves on the wings, they actually might even press and, put us in a bit of a trap. If someone like Reguilón, who we know bombs forward, the players I even selected for Spurs are going to be the ones that potentially are, the ones that we know would probably get a bit further forward, in our side, get into the attacking third. And so we probably would see Reguilón, of course, very high up the pitch. If Reguilón gets caught in a situation like that, he can get either pressure from McGinn, Watkins, and Cash, maybe all at the same time as well, when you consider that. But what Reguilón, I would say, is he's very good at slipping kind of passes in. He's very good at playing it on the floor. He does it very riskily, I would say, as well sometimes, but it is something he likes to do. He likes to play pass on the floor a bit inside. He doesn't just blindly cross it, like maybe some fullbacks do. And so if he were to maybe slip it into Sonny in that bit of that green zone right there, where maybe, let's say McGinn or Cash or someone kind of abandons Sonny and gives him to someone else, if maybe Reguilón were to give it to him there, I could see a lot of success right there. Maybe same goes for Højbjerg. We know Højbjerg likes to bomb up the pitch, especially if Skippy is playing. So Højbjerg could get caught in kind of the same way that Reguilón could. I would say maybe in Højbjerg's situation, he does have a bit more protection with maybe Skippy or Tanganga behind him. But still, must be said, the likes of, Jacob Ramsey or, or Matty Target or Danny Ings or even maybe, let's say, Tyrone Mings. That's almost a word conundrum there. Pushing further forward and, trying to press the ball up from there. But I would say is that Højbjerg, again, someone who has the most shot creating actions and chances created in our entire side. So you must take that into consideration. So maybe he would also be able to play into Lucas, who we know likes to drift inside, as well as Harry Kane, who, will pick up very intelligent positions in this pitch. So JHFC Max, those little green spots, those little highlighted green areas are places where, we're not going to be able to have the ball with such freedom like that. These are the areas where, of course, Villa wouldn't want us to have the ball. But if we find a clever pass, maybe open up the play a bit, those are brilliant areas, I would say, for us to have the ball, because they will really have to find someone to, move out of position. You might say if we have it on the wings, if we have it out wide, that's exactly where they want us to have it. So if we're able to slip it inside in these certain areas, I think we could have a lot of success.
Should have no problem in slipping it inside. That's what they done against Arsenal. Got caught on it every single fucking time last week. So they better have no problem slipping it inside fucking tomorrow. That's for sure. I can tell you that.
That's for sure. And it's a 5-3-2 kind of shape, everybody, or kind of like a 5-1-2 kind of, Douglas Luiz is a bit more the holding midfielder. McGinn, is a bit box to box, almost kind of like Højbjerg is when Skippy plays. And then Jacob Ramsey, I think, is one that, also likes to get a bit further forward, but he also tracks back really well. And that must be set. So there it is, everybody. That's kind of their defensive shape. But with that defensive shape, this is the shape, of course, that they used against Man United. But you could say these are the areas where maybe some of our Spurs players are that we should like to have the ball.
No, 100%. Look, like I already said it. Look, they better be playing the balls inside in these areas because they done it all last week and got caught on it. So they better be doing it this week, especially since it's the way to exploit Villa.
There it is, everybody. And also, I just will say, if you maybe think that there's another place, or maybe if we rock the 4 in the back, unfortunately, or they've rocked the 4 in the back Villa, not so sure. Maybe I don't have a way to break that down yet. I just didn't have the time for it. Maybe next time. But I would just say if they rock that same formation that they did against Man United, these are the areas that I certainly would exploit. But now, everybody, you can now let go of that big breath. We just got through the tunnel, Dave, right? Yeah. And, now we can maybe talk about how the Spurs can win this one.
That's what we love. Look, enough of the villains. I've had enough of them now. Already, getting me animated for tomorrow. So let's get on to Tottenham, my safe space.
Certainly our safe space, Dave. And I would say, guys, maybe apart from the first game of the season, this is the toughest lineup again that I've ever tried to predict, or the toughest formation that I've ever tried to predict, especially since we do stats with Jack a bit early. Sometimes, it's really hard to do, predict the lineup for it. So I've actually given you kind of 3 different ways that maybe we could set up, as well as I would say, one of them is maybe the way that I would prefer us to set up, because of course, to a degree, there's a lot of pressure on Nuno. So if Nuno, potentially has, one of his, staff watching or anything like that, or even Nuno catches this a bit too late, at least he can see how maybe, the Harris Army, as well as David and I, would like them to set up maybe against this squad. Because if we were to rock the 4-3-3, which I would say I wouldn't be happy with, but maybe we've had more success with it with Skippy and Højbjerg together, I would probably argue that, if we were to do the 4-3-3, I think we could see Gio or Tanguy right there. I don't want to see Dele anymore. Nope, no more. Really no more. He's the most dispossessed player in our entire squad. Really doesn't create many chances at all for us. And again, I'll just say that again, the most dispossessed player in our squad. He was the most dispossessed player last season, and he barely played any minutes. And then also this season, he's continuing on that form of just being someone that just really is so careless with the ball. And if he's supposed to be the number 10, the one that's supposed to be able to create chances for some of these guys, or just be that person that can open up the lines a bit more than maybe Højbjerg or Skippy can, just Dele's just been, in my opinion, and this is harsh, but worthless in that regard. So I would just say that Tanguy or Gio need to be there. If it is a 4-3-3, I would say the rest of the lineup to a degree kind of picks itself with the 4-3-3. So I'm just going to move on to maybe if we were to match Aston Villa, this is how I would go about it. It would be a 5-2-3 kind of shape, maybe in defense, but maybe a 3-4-2-1 going forward. If we wanted to keep that same front 3 of Harry Kane, Sonny, and Lucas, which we saw was absolutely unfair against Enes Mira, really, really, really unfair. This is how I'd probably set up. We do have Emerson as a right wing back. We have Tanganga maybe slipping in more as a right-sided center back. Romero would be playing his real position that he played at Atalanta, which is that very aggressive libero role in the center of a back 3. And then Eric Dyer can be, kind of someone who's a bit more of a sweeper, or even kind of also someone who can, to a degree, dictate the tempo actually out of the back. So there you are, everybody. And I would actually be playing, if we were to go for just 2 men in the midfield like that, I wouldn't play Skippy and Højbjerg. I think that would just be a bit too, unfortunately, just wouldn't be creative enough. Also, they're not too, except for Højbjerg. Højbjerg's decent at carrying the ball. Skippy is decent at carrying the ball. But maybe they're not, the best at times. Also because, John McGinn and Douglas Luiz, I would say you have to give them credit. Those guys do know how to, get stuck in. And I think it would be kind of difficult for them to find any times to get forward. So I would say we do Højbjerg and Gio in the middle of the park. Maybe, Lucas, like he always does, probably would slip, kind of more towards the middle, maybe move a bit more inside. and then you'd be kind of Harry Kane and Sonny up top. But this would be my 3-4-2-1, 5-2-3 formation to kind of rival against Villa. And the other version I have of it is actually, a 3-4-1-2 or a 5-3-2, which pretty much the same kind of back line. But instead, it's actually Højbjerg and Skippy, which we know is a very working formula, a very successful formula. But then we would have someone like Gio or Tanguy, could be right here, playing actually right behind Harry Kane and Sonny. And also in this case, Tanguy or Gio, they know how to track back, but they're not great at tracking back in the right moments when there are danger. And if they did have Højbjerg and Skippy, I would say, behind them, they could definitely, relax a bit. We could relax a bit, certainly as Spurs fans. I would actually prefer this one, if you ask me, as much as I don't think Lucas really probably deserves to be left out of the squad. I would do something like this actually instead, if we were to, let's say match their system. Dave, if you had to pick between, because I think you know plenty about the 4-3-3, and you know that, Skippy and Højbjerg are a must if we're doing a 4-3-3. If you had to pick between one of these 3 in the back, 4 in the back, or 3 in the back formations, would you go for this one maybe with Lucas in there, or would you maybe go for that one?
Show me the other one again. I'd probably go for that one, to be honest with you there, Jack. That's what I would do there. Look, everyone knows me personally. I actually prefer 4 at the back. I would be going with a 4-2-3-1 myself, with Skipp and Højbjerg holding. You allow Emerson to bomb forward one side, you allow Reguilon to bomb forward the other side, and you just get Hip or Højbjerg and Skipp to cover them out wide if any ball comes down that side, breaking forward. But look, if I was to play 3 at the back, this one here would be my preferred formation, just purely because there's no end on Dele in it, to be honest with you. Look, Kane, Lucas, Son, I'd like to keep that front 3. I'd like to keep the 2 midfielders. I'd change Lo Celso for Skipp personally, but I'd definitely have Højbjerg and Skipp in there. See, you could allow. I'm thinking you put Lo Celso in there for maybe that bit of attacking threat through the middle, Jack. The reason why I'd say you'd get away with putting Skipp in there is because, like here, you have Emerson bombing one side, Reguilon bombing the other side. Skipp and Højbjerg, they're very hard-working midfielders. I think they'd be perfect in there as a combo. And with Son and Lucas, you can play them in closer to Harry Kane. And then Reguilon and Emerson fill up your space out wide going forward. So for me, I think Skipp and Højbjerg would be perfect there, because you don't really need one of your centre midfielders breaking forward as such if you have Sonny, Lucas, and Emerson and Reguilon bombing on the outsides.
Probably very right, Dave, actually. Well, I mean, I think you got an answer there, everybody. So, unfortunately, like I said, it's kind of like the first match of the season. Having a lot of trouble actually picking this formation or picking how we'll set up against them, because, Dean Smith has gone for this 5-3-2, this 3-5-2 shape. And you would think that obviously with Nuno having a bit of pressure on him, does he really want to continue with the 4-3-3? Of course, we've all been vouching for the 4-2-3-1. We haven't necessarily seen that yet. So I would say maybe this could be potentially, the way that he could set up. As well, I would say you get the most out of Romero, which I would actually be happy to see. I think we should get more out of Romero. I think he'll be fine in a back 4. He'll grow into it. But I just think if we wanted to see immediate results from Romero, we want to see that, that bulldog that we were talking about in the beginning of the season. Certainly would get it in a 3 in the back, 5 in the back formation. But going on to now our unsung hero, Dave, in this situation, it is going to be Skippy. And Skippy, he doesn't really lead too much in, any of the stats. He's not like exactly somebody that dominates any particular stat line in our squad. But I think this is the thing is, it must be said that he's actually only started 4 matches in the Prem this season. It's kind of said there's but the asterisks right there. And you take that into consideration, then you look at some of these stats, actually quite impressive that he still sits so high up in some of these stats, you would say, because if he's only started 4 matches when, the rest of these players have played 6, he's actually still sitting quite high up there. And as well, you can even see, in his photo right there, you see a bit of the guns, that he's flexing with the right arm. You have to take into consideration that guy is a real workhorse. He's in fantastic shape. He can run forever. And as well, our 2 most embarrassing defeats, Dave, maybe apart from the Crystal Palace match, did come without Skippy, starting the match. So do have to take that, as a note, I would say. And let's just break down some of these stats. He has the 3rd most blocks in our squad. He has the 3rd most successful pressures, which I think is very, very decent, especially he is supposed to be a holding midfielder with 19. 2nd most ball recoveries with 39, which is, I would say, decent. And then third most fouls drawn, which I actually really, really like, actually. It just shows that Skippy actually, is able to go down at the right times. He tries to make those surging runs through the midfield. Usually somebody throws in a leg and, he can, cause something to happen, even get maybe someone a yellow card. Fifth most progressive carries, which I would say is decent, especially again for someone that's only started 4 matches this season. The fact that he has the fifth most as a holding midfielder kind of destroyer. He does like to do those runs through the middle of the park, like I said, those very brave runs, and that probably is an indication of that with the fifth most progressive carries. Fifth most tackles plus interceptions combined with 25. Again, I think that would be a lot higher if he had a few more matches played or a few more matches started, And then second most passes into the final third. Now, that is a ridiculous stat, again, for someone that's only started 4 matches this season with 26 passes into the final third, which being the second most or maybe tied for the second most. And then he also has still, Dave, the most progressive passes, which are passes that are 10 yards or more, going up the pitch. So to a degree, maybe if he had started all 6 matches, we might be seeing Skippy lead in a lot of these stats when you maybe look at that, Dave. I mean, what do you think? I mean, Skippy, the fact that he's only started 4 matches, 2 of our most embarrassing defeats have come without Skippy. Is he maybe more of an unsung hero than we realized?
Jack, it's what I've been saying from the very start, from what I noticed. One phrase I've always used about the kid is he's proactive, he's not reactive. He doesn't wait for someone to get the ball and then close them down. He's already up the hole before they receive the ball, which in turn means he can dislodge it. And he also puts himself in position for the blocks. Most successful pressures, that's because he's proactive, not reactive. Second most ball recoveries, that's because he's proactive, not reactive. Third most fouls drawn, that's because he gets in there, he turns over the ball, and they have no option but to take him out. Progressive carries, look, he just shows he's more than a player that turns over the ball, Jack. He's not afraid to get on the ball. He can hold the ball as well. Look, I absolutely love this guy. I think I'm a big fan. I think future Tottenham captain for me. I really do believe that. And look, it just goes to show when he wasn't there against Arsenal and he had to come off the bench, we missed him absolutely massively. And for me, I think him and Højbjerg have to start every game in the Premier League. I really rate this guy. I really rate him. Look, my eyes don't lie to me either. You look at the way he plays, you can tell he has a very, very good understanding and a reading of the game. Because being able to know where that pass is coming and getting right up that player's hole to try and dislodge the ball, it's not an easy thing to do, It's not an easy thing to do. You have to be able to read the game. And Skipp has shown that he's done that. And for me, I think all them stats are absolutely excellent and shows why the man has to play, Jacko.
Yeah.
Verse 72 with the super chat says the 4-3-3 that Nuno plays is over, not aggressive enough. If I see any Dele anywhere near the stadium, I'm breaking something. Your 3-4-2-1 looks great, Jack.
Yeah, I did like the 3-4-2-1 shape, Spurs 72. And also, I agree with you. The 4-3-3 has not been aggressive enough going forward. It's actually been very solid defensively. And we've seen that with the likes of, Dele Alli, of course. But as well, you must also realize that maybe, I don't know, Dele Alli is just, he's been good defensively when he's been alongside, Skippy and Højbjerg. But really going forward, he's just really hasn't done very much for me. Really has not done very much for me. And so I've been quite disappointed in the likes of Dele Alli. So I would just say to you guys, I mean, the 3-4-2-1 is probably the best way to go about it. It's the best way to, to take this team going forward. I think it's the best way for Nuno maybe to relieve a bit of pressure, get more consistent results. We've conceded a lot of goals as well. So we probably should go to that shape. Now, when I think about it, I would probably do the 3-4-2-1. I kind of liked the 3-4-1-2 with maybe Gio or Tanguy actually sitting in front of the likes of Højbjerg and Skipp. Yeah. But I think either or would probably work quite well. Antonio Montana, I just want to say, I don't know how you know about my addiction to doner kebabs, especially because, when I was studying in Berlin, that's the best cheap way to, feed yourself, is, after a long day of studying. It's honestly, it's my mouth is already watering, but I don't get it over here in New York. I really don't. And so it's probably, if I were to pick any food in the world, that one is the one I miss the most.
No, I love a good kebab, I have to say, but Spurs 72, my man. Look, the 4-3-3, it's not aggressive enough. It's not. I agree with you. But does that come down on the formation or the players? That's what I ask you, my man. That's what I ask you. Does that come down on the formation or the players? look, I've made it clear with Dele Alli. I want the guy gone now. I've had enough. I've had enough. I've had enough of him. He's just, look, especially moaning, and not only moaning, but walking straight down the tunnel after he got took off midweek. Well, why doesn't he question himself why he actually got took off instead of blaming everybody else? I'm fed up with that guy. He has to go. He has to get out of the club. He's just one big baby. Honestly, stick a soother in his mouth and send him off to creche. I'm sick of him. And yeah, look, the 3-4-2-1. I think it does look good. I'm just a bit old school, William. I don't like our Spurs 72. I don't like to change them, my man. I like to keep it forward the back. But big up, man. Really appreciate the support. Dark Sun G21 says, and he's in with the big one as well. He says, I hope Son can score a double against Villa, like the time he scored one with a broken arm. Also, Rodon, Romero, Reggie, Tanganga, Royal, Skipp, Pierre, and Meloyberg, a backline which we need to utilise to keep clean sheets. Look, me just quickly, Dark Sun G, look, I'll pray for Son. I'll pray for Son to get goals tomorrow. At the end of the day, he gets goals. It gives us a great chance of winning. And I just love to see him score. I love Sonny. Look, in terms of the back line and the clean sheet situation, it's because Nuno doesn't know his best defence. It's that simple.
Yeah.
He doesn't. I don't even think he knows his best 11, to be honest with you. And for me, that is a bit worrying. Look, I know, you know what went on with the Argentinian or the South American players and all that sort of crap, but he should still have an idea of his best 11. I still don't think he knows it. I still think he's tinkering to try and find it, which I don't understand. He should have it by now. Look, I think the best back line he could possibly get for me is Regan on at left back, Romero and Rodon at centre back, with Tanganga at right back, switching out with Royal depending on whether you want your right back to go forward or not. That's what I would be doing, and Skipp and Højbjerg have to be playing in front of that back four. It's that simple, my man. Big up, Dark Song G. I really appreciate the support. Jack, what would you say, Dark Song G?
He's gone for more or less also, a bit of a kind of a back five, kind of a situation. And I think it's, I think it's the right way to go. And also, I think we need to focus on getting clean sheets again, Dark Sun G, as much as maybe we started to complain about the 1-0s and whatnot. You have to take into consideration those were still 3 points at the end of the day. Also, in certain situations like with City, I think especially also with, with Watford, they really didn't create very much, as much as it probably wasn't the most exciting game to watch, against Watford. They didn't really create very much. And then as well, I would say against City, we know that we were the better team, in that situation. And I think we should be focusing on clean sheets again. I think we need to realize that as much as he's being pressured to be a bit more attacking, 3 points is what we need now. As again, I'm saying we should do attacking football. We want aesthetic football. We want the push and run. We want what Spurs are built on. And that's, probably most found in the 4-2-3-1 shape. But with whatever Nuno is comfortable with to get 3 points at this rate, because his job to a degree is on the line, the pressure is on. So whatever he finds more comfort in and, being able to get a better result, I think that's what he should go with. And if that's, the back five, maybe with what you've kind of illustrated here, Dark Sun G, I think that's a really good way to go about it. And I would love to see Sonny get that double, especially with that, maybe Jamie Vardy kind of broken arm kind of situation as well. When you take that, and it's just brilliant, Dark Sun G. Really want to see that happen.
No, big up Dark Sun G, my man. Really appreciate the support as well. And he also says Skipp is the type of youth we need to make. Yeah, no, 100%. Look, he should be the face of a midfielder coming through, not Harry Winks. Harry Winks is everything you don't want to be coming through in that youth system. Skipp should be the man on the poster. I fully agree with you, Dark Song G. Big up, my man. Really appreciate the support.
Yeah, really. Also, Dark Sun G, exactly. Skippy's the kind of, midfielder that we, want to just create in a laboratory, for the Spurs, kind of a midfield. And I would say easy passes, the kind of the refuge that you just throw away, I would say, in my opinion. I know you probably agree, as well as catastrophe as well, but obviously that's not a midfielder. Moving on to our key player, though. It's Sonny. I mean, Sonny is just absolutely vital to this team. He's, to a degree, a lot of people have made brilliant points that, you can't have, you can't have a bit of Son without Harry Kane. I would probably say you can't have a bit of Harry Kane without some Sonny as well, when you think about that. So most shots on target with 7 in the entire, that's not very much. And I will say, guys, we really do need to improve our creative outlet and our creative ability. But most shots on target in the entire squad with 7 so far. Most shots per 90 with 2.94, which is not too bad, actually, for Sonny's case. tied for the most key passes, which I think is actually quite impressive. That just speaks to Sonny's creative ability as much as he is obviously a deadly player going forward, Dave. I mean, we all know that he also has a good eye for a pass as well. Maybe not as, Harry Kane maybe levels, but also still world class at times, still world class, especially when it comes to being able to square a ball, across the six. He is very, very good, especially because he can do it with both feet. Most shot creating actions with 13. There you go. Practically the most chances created in the entire squad so far. Most progressive passes received, which is a very, very, very decent stat. That means basically the most passes that are right 10 yards or more going forward. He's receiving the most of those with 35. That just shows he is our outlet. If we need to play something in behind, if we just need to get the ball further forward, he's the one that we're looking for. No one else. He is the one that we look for. Most touches in the attacking penalty area. Probably something, Dave, that I've kind of criticized, certain players in our squad, before, where it's like just the lack of urgency to get in the box, with the ball at their feet. It's like once you bring the ball into the box with your own 2 feet, you realize that, defenders have to be a bit more careful. They can't just lunge in on you, Dave. So that's something I just feel like Sonny does better than anybody. So that's why he has the most touches in the attacking penalty area. Second most carries into the penalty area with 6. Actually quite surprising, and one of them that I have criticized in that regard is Stevie Bergwijn, who actually does lead us with the most carries into the penalty area. So, that's something maybe I think that he built up in that Man City match. That's why he had so many. But yeah, I would say like it is something that, the majority of our squad just needs to really improve on is carrying the ball into the penalty area. When you have space, when the defender is, 10 yards away from you and is kind of sagging off a bit, get the ball into the box with your own body. Please just carry the ball into the penalty area because you can make things happen, and it's just something that we all just seem to be way too scared about in this squad. So I would say that's something that we all need to improve on. And it's actually, to a degree, the fact that Sonny leads in so many of these with actually very low numbers is actually quite sad. And it really does speak to maybe, us needing to just be a lot better and a lot more proficient and a lot more just creative going forward.
Yeah, look, I was just going to say the difference between Son and Bergwijn. Look, anyone can carry a ball into the penalty area, to be honest with you, but it's end product after that, and that's what separates Son and Lucas. Is Son has all the end product you need. Look, Son, I think he's become a very, very crucial player for Tottenham since he's first arrived here. He's grown incredibly. He's at the point now, Jack, where he can go outside you and come in by the byline. He can cut inside you and shoot. He can create chances for other people. I think he's become world class, in my opinion. Look, a lot of people saying he's probably more crucial now than what Harry Kane is to the team as well. And look, I can see it. I can definitely see it. Look, Kane, he gets incredible numbers, but a lot of them are with Son in the team. So, look, he's definitely a key player, that's for sure. And I'm absolutely delighted that Son did sign his new contract. William Kelly says, "Hi, boys, don't want to see Alli in this team against Villa, but I'm afraid Nuno is going to make the same mistake relying on this guy would be his downfall. This is a very decent Villa side." Look, do you know what, William Kelly? I'm at the point, if these managers can't come in and see that some of these players will let them down time and time again, and then they try and keep persisting with them, it's their own fault. Look, any manager coming in, do your homework. Look at why Poch got sacked. Look at why Jose got sacked. Do your homework. It's because these crap players, there's some crap players that, managers are either persisting with, or even Jose outcasted Dele last season, and the amount of people that wanted him gone for it, not one of them turned around. Not one of them have turned around and said he was right to do it. Not one, because they won't swallow their pride. The thing is with Jose, he's been in the game so long. The players he outcasted are correct, in my opinion, because anytime we see them, they do nothing but play shit for Tottenham Hotspur. Do nothing but play shit for us. And for me, look, I want Dele. I don't want him in around the team anymore. It's look, you can put fucking me or Jack in there to run about if you want, but it's what you do on the ball. That's what he's in the team for. And he's doing jack shit. And then to walk off down the tunnel crying last week after being missing for 2.5 years, who the fuck does the guy think he is? Does he think he just deserves to stay on for 90 minutes if he's playing shit? No, I know he won the penalty and put it away. Big whoop. What did he do for the rest of the game?
Should have finished it. Didn't even need to take it to a penalty, and we kind of realized that too. But yeah, continue, Dave. You're on a roll.
At the end of the day, he couldn't even get out there and perform against the Slovenian team, and he's walking off down the touchline bull tick. Give me a fucking break, honestly. Yeah, But like he just like this is the problem. He expects to just play. He expects to play and he expects to be given the minutes. Well, I'm Dele Alli. Play me. Well, unfortunately, Dele, it doesn't work like that. Do a hell of a lot more than what you're doing. Maybe realize you're the problem and it's not the managers. At the end of the day, again with Nuno, I'm going to keep saying it. Keep playing some of these players. Well, then you're putting your job on the line. It's that simple. It is that simple. Now, he should know by working with them in training and whatever else, some of these guys are just not good enough to be here. So if they're not good enough to be here, and managerial stints are so short nowadays, you don't play the players that are going to cost you your job. It's that simple. But that's all I can say. That's all I can say on that, William. Jack, you want to say anything to William?
William, I mean, I just feel very passionate about it as well in terms of Dele Alli. I've tried to give him a chance. I've tried to say that, he's evolving into this box-to-box midfielder now. He's not that at all. He really isn't. Like he's maybe become like a workhorseman in that regard, but he just isn't creating anything. And so when you also take into consideration that the matches when he was being that box-to-box midfielder, William, that was when, Skippy and Højbjerg were also next to him. So that gives you lots of freedom. That gives you lots of time, to maybe create something for the squad. And he's never done anything in that regard. Maybe he's won a penalty or two, but I would just say William Kelly, he's just been extremely frustrating. And again, William Kelly, I'll reference it again. I will reference it a million times. The most dispossessed player in our squad. The guy does not know how to take care of the ball. The guy wastes chances, wastes them. And when we're going forward, when he picks it up in really good space, he tries to go for a stupid mag, or he tries to go for some ridiculous pass that we all know that you shouldn't try to do, especially in the form that he's in. And he does it anyways. And it's just because he doesn't have concentration, doesn't have discipline. And it's just starting to really get to me. And as well, like there have been lots of times, even in the NS Mirror match, when you even saw my reaction. I almost threw something across the room when he tried to go for that meg in that situation. He practically waited for a defender to catch up to him just so he could try to meg the guy. I mean, it's just pathetic at this rate. It really is pathetic. He should just move over to futsal, but he's not even good enough for futsal because he doesn't know how to even, meg a Slovenian fifth place team, so it just shows. I think the guy, William Kelly, I've tried to be honest about him and just say, he's evolving, he's becoming a different type of position. But even that, like, it's not worth it. And again, to anybody that wants to see him in his real position or that second striker position, again, just take that into consideration. Most dispossessed player in the squad. Is that really who you want to see, playing alongside Harry Kane? That means he's just going to be losing it even more. That means he's only going to waste even more chances. So there you go.
He hasn't earned the right. He hasn't even earned the right to come into his normal position. Unfortunately, he's been that much missing in action and that shit that now he has to try and fit into a manager's system. And even though people are saying, well, we're not playing we're not playing him in his position, at the end of the day, that's again his own fault that he has to fit into a manager's system and the team is no longer built around him because he stopped performing. That's on him. That's not on any manager. That's on him. It was always going to be the case. Anyone that plays the game knows if you're off form and you're playing crap, it's up to you to get into the manager's team. It's not up to him to just put you in the position where you feel like you deserve to play. And once you get into the manager's team, it's up to you to produce what he wants you to do, plus what you should be doing in order to get back into your normal position and show him why you should be playing higher up the pitch. But Dele doesn't want to do that. Dele just wants to go in, run about, try and beat a man, pull it back, wait for him to come near him to nutmeg him again. For Twitter, for Instagram, for all the kids around the world. And what's sick of me most, he was being interviewed after the game against that Slovenian team. And there was crowd standing there singing his name. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, this guy walked down the tunnel after being taken off. And he pulled faces after being taken off. And crowds are still standing there singing his name. I just do not understand it. I do not understand it. But William Kelly, big up, my man. Really appreciate the support. We have another couple to crack through here, and then we will crack on because our preview is starting in less than 45 minutes. Gaguma says, let's go, son. Couldn't agree more. I want to see Sonny at his full best tomorrow. I really do. Look, Son's at his best. You can guarantee we'll win, and you can guarantee he'll lay my man Harry Kane on for one. That's for sure. Big up, Kaguma. Really appreciate the support. Faz Radfar says we are one game away from crisis or to get on track. Both. You win tomorrow, you could say maybe we could get back on track. You lose tomorrow, it's crisis. And this is what I'm going to be talking about in the preview. But very well could be Nuno's last game in charge as well, Faz. With the international break coming up after, it gives Tottenham time to try and sort something out. Probably not enough time. No, Tottenham, we need another 70-odd days, 80-odd days. But look, it gives us a couple of weeks to maybe try and sort it out. But big up, Faz. I couldn't agree more. It could go either way after tomorrow, my man. And then Dark Sun G says, in January, we need to get either a cam, striker, or left back. If we can survive until Jan and get these three, hopefully we should get at least top 6. I predict the 4-2 if we use Dele, Dyer, and Tanguy and not Skipp and Roden. Well, Jack, what would you say to him?
I've weirdly called for that center mid or that kind of, creative midfielder, that tempo setter for a long time. I would say, maybe others kind of thought that wasn't as important. I feel like more and more, it seems to be actually the one that we are actually missing the most. And maybe that's just because we wanted to give the likes of Tanguy and Gio and Dele, opportunities, but it just shows that they just can't cut it. Like in that, they really can't. With Tanguy, you have to really cater to him. And can you do that every match? No. With Gio, we just saw a good performance from Gio. Will that continue? Not so sure. In Dele's case, I'm really giving up on him again. And it's really sad that I'm doing it so soon. But the guy, again, the stats don't lie. And as well as even, the seeing eye test with Dele doesn't lie. The guy is infuriating to watch sometimes. Infuriating to watch, especially if you were a manager on the sidelines, Dave. I just feel like the guy really would just, I would yank him so quickly. It's probably why he's been taken off everybody, after the 45-minute mark so much. And I don't think it's because he's being saved. If that is the case, I'm probably even more livid. But I think it's also just the fact that he's just so woeful at times, and that's why he gets taken off early, because he's the one that's doing the least on the pitch. So, and then as well, yeah, a left back I think is probably needed, considering, catastrophe. And then obviously we know we need that striker. What that type of striker would be, personally, I'm part of the Chris Goatwood fan club. I would love to be, Chris Wood is, the person that we would, go for, because he can do a job in the Premier League. And as well, he can maybe play those minutes that we know that Harry Kane shouldn't. And even maybe when matches when Dane Scarlett might be, maybe not ready for that kind of thing. Even playing Dane Scarlett alongside Chris Wood is not a bad idea as well. So I would just say, we don't have to go for a top mark striker by any means, like a Lautaro or whatnot. Just go for the Chris Goatwood fan club. That's what I would say. Or maybe then go for someone like a Marcus Thuram or like a Cody Gakpo. That's like someone that can play striker, but can also play other positions. And then we add further development to that forward line. So I would just say that those are my suggestions, Dark Sunji. I'm pretty sure you probably have, also very good ones as well. If we play Dyer, yeah, we probably will struggle. We really would struggle, but big yourself up, Dark Sunji.
All I'm going to say on Dyer, Dele, Tanguy, when are we going to learn our lessons? They actually do this harm more. They actually do this team more harm than they do good. And when you have players like that, you just do not play them. It's that simple. I couldn't give a shit about their confidence. They're all on 200 grand, 150 grand, over 100 grand a week. It's up to them to find their confidence. I know some people say money doesn't bring happiness. It doesn't. But at the end of the day, they don't have any general worries like most other people. Everything they do is geared to 90 minutes on the weekend. Everything they do during the week is geared to it. There's no excuses for it. I've had enough. And for me, when they're causing you more harm than good, you don't play them. It's that simple. Tanguy cost us 2 against Wolves, shit against Arsenal. Dyer, okay, he had a 3-game period at the start of the season. Crap against Palace before he got injured. And, crap against the Gunners. Dele Alli, I've just had my spiel on him. But big up Dark Sun G. Really appreciate the support, my man. Top man. And then we have one more here from William Kelly. And he says, get ready for crisis, boys. Not being a pessimist, more a realist. Like what Ray Keane always says, your eyes don't lie to you.
Yep.
Yeah, no, look, it's not being pessimistic. Look, I think anyone can probably see a crisis coming around the corner.
If we're not already in one to a degree.
Yeah, look, we're already kind of in one, but tomorrow's game will, for me, decides what way our season's going. It really does. And for me, you win, okay, there's a chance to sort it out. You lose, honestly, it could be a very, very long season. A very, very long season. And by the way, lad, absolutely love Ray Keane. He's my hero. He's my idol. I absolutely love the guy. I watch everything he does. He's brilliant. Big up, William. 100% you're being a realist, my man. What a man.
Well said, William. Can't say it better myself. I think you're completely in your own right to believe that. And I think a lot of us feel the same way, William Kelly. Big yourself up. You're definitely a realist, just a practical thinker. It's also another way to put it.
No, 100%. But big up, William. Really appreciate it. But look, Jack, let's crack through these next few slides because we have another show starting in half an hour.
No problem. No problem. How to Tottenham attack? We're just going to do some of the animations. Again, the animations maybe aren't as complex this time, so you don't have to break them down too much. These are the three ways that I think, Spurs can hurt the other team. Sonny and behind, of course. We're probably plenty aware of that. Just a bit of intelligent movement from Sonny. We'll, see him maybe do something that, not a lot of other players can do. In this scenario, I actually have it where this could be Gio or Tanguy playing in the middle, for us, or, kind of maybe finding those number 10 positions. It's actually Region playing one of those very risky kind of slipped, inside passes that I was talking about. He likes to play them. Sometimes they don't work out and they do hurt us, but also at times they can open up the play like this. And then it's just Sonny, taking it in behind and scoring from there. I think it's not too complicated. So I am just going to say, Region and Sonny, though, they do need to take advantage of Matty Cash. Matty Cash is a great defender, but if they overwhelm him, we might find a lot of success. The other one is going to be, or the next slide here, or the next animation here is going to be another one between Sonny just kind of getting in behind in this situation. It's again, kind of us kind of working it around the pitch in this scenario. It's actually Højbjerg, we're kind of shifting the ball, kind of shifting their press. And it's actually, I would say, a very team goal when you actually think about it in this scenario where Region plays Skippy. Skippy kind of recycles it back through the defense. Højbjerg picks up, that kind of pocket midfielder kind of role. Harry Kane does a bit of movement off ball. Lucas drifts inside and does, that pass that we saw him do a million times in the preseason, where he actually slips that beautiful through ball, in behind the defense, from that inside right position with his right foot. It seems quite realistic. We've done it, at times before. I'd love to see it happen again. And yeah, it's just maybe the two scenarios are just Sonny getting in behind. In this scenario, it's going to be Harry Kane positioning. With Harry Kane positioning, I think it just says its own. The guy and picks up incredible positions in and around the pitch. He knows how to be able to find pockets of space that no other striker would. In this scenario, it is just Harry Kane kind of dropping back and able to play somebody like Lucas. Again, all these are a bit elementary. I do kind of maybe apologize in that regard, but these are kind of maybe the areas that I was talking to THFC Max with. If Harry Kane's able to pick up the ball in those scenarios, if also Lucas is able to pick up the ball in these scenarios, we can definitely be able to expose that back line. If we're able to break that midfield of McGinney as well as Douglas Luiz, I think we could find a lot of success. It's just a bit of a 1-2 between the two players here. I think there's going to be another one in this scenario as well, where Harry Kane picks up very good positioning. I am treating you guys maybe with not as long of animations, but maybe different kinds of animations in this regard. This is Harry Kane actually just kind of saucing and creating something with Emi Martinez actually deflecting or parrying the ball to Sonny to tap it in. It's again Tanguy or Gio in this scenario, picking up very good number 10 position and then finding the likes of Harry Kane from there. He slips it to Harry Kane. Harry Kane from there tries to, just take it down the byline, maybe ricochets it off the post or whatnot, and then just maybe finds the back of the net with Sonny. I would say this is also very plausible just because we know that Tanguy likes to look for players like that, like Harry Kane. He does trust Harry Kane. So I would say, if Tanguy or Gio is able to find those spots in the middle of the park that I also highlighted about Villa's defense to THFC Max, again, we could find a lot of success there. And then again, finally, in terms of the midfield creators, these are kind of maybe what I was just talking about. Again, our midfield creators are carriers, I might say as well. They are carriers, they are creators. And Gio or Tanguy, I'd like to see. No Dele, just Gio or Tanguy. In this scenario, it's just one animation. It's just them, kind of. I think I have actually two animations. One is with Gio and one is with Tanguy. This one is with Gio. Gio's kind of just taking it up the pitch, driving it up the pitch, finds Harry Kane in a good pockets of space. We kind of see the exchange of movements between Harry Kane and Sonny here. We know that's fully possible. We know that they're very capable of working with each other, communicating with each other in that regard. They're very unselfish with how they move for each other as well. And it's just Gio slipping in a beautiful through ball, here. And then Harry Kane makes the most of it, makes, the rest of the work. And then the next one is going to be Tanguy creating something as well, maybe in a bit different of a scenario where we're actually kind of just breaking down this midfield. And then Tanguy actually slips in a beautiful through ball, I think, to Lucas. And then it's just a bit of, of a team goal where, again, I would say if Lucas finds these pockets inside, like he tried to do against Arsenal, I would just say if he maybe were to do it a bit better, like just maybe not give up the ball in the ways that he did last match, I would say, again, we could actually have a lot of success, because when Lucas does drift inside, he actually is very, very, very good when he does drift inside. He's absolutely lethal when he does it. It just seems like Arsenal just really did handle it well. And it was also Lucas maybe wasn't on the top of his game, maybe, when you think about that. And this is just Tanguy, playing a beautiful, probably no look pass of some sorts to Lucas, and we just break it down from there.
No, 100%. Absolutely love that. I have to say, absolutely love them animations. And look, the Harris Army are so good at remembering anyway. But when we score a goal like that tomorrow, make sure you give Jack credit in the watch along chat. Look, Jack, let's keep it moving, my man.
This is kind of the wrap up moment anyway. So everybody, please get in your super chats, your comments, whatever, because, we are going to be finishing up very soon. This is kind of a recap when we talk about key battles. Said this before, Matty Cash is obviously someone that we highlighted as a bit of an unsung hero or a key player for them. And again, if we do have Region and Sonny maybe attacking him kind of together, with overlapping runs and whatnot, we definitely will be able to limit Matty Cash's, potential for creating something, or as well, just shutting down Sonny, because like I said, he's probably one of the best defenders in their entire squad. And if we do just let Sonny go against him by his own, Matty Cash could probably, he'd probably prefer that over maybe having to deal with Region at the same time. The other one is going to be a midfield battle, or a center back battle, where it is going to be for Romero and Dyer, the only two center backs, and they are going up against Watkins and Ings. That breeds trouble. I do think that breeds trouble. That's probably why we should go for a back five, because if they do that two striker front, those guys really do know how to work with each other. They're very hard workers off the ball as well. So they probably would make it very difficult for the likes of Romero and Eric Dyer to maybe, do what they want with the ball, dictate possession from there and whatnot. So I would just say, it's a very scary front two. It is a very, very scary front two. Players to target. Matt Target is one of them. I would say that with Matty Target, he's, I believe, actually one of the most dispossessed players, I think, in the entire Villa squad, Dave, which I did find interesting. I think he's not necessarily a bad player, but he's probably one of the weaker links, you might say, in the squad. He's not nearly as good with Matty Cash with the ball. He gets far forward, but he can get exposed maybe if he gives up the ball.
Oh, no, he's a weak link, Jack. Ismail Sarr gave this guy the absolute run around. First game of the season when Watford played Villa. He absolutely gave him a run around. He is the player to target. He's not that good.
There you go, Dave. Maybe I was being too nice to him. Tyrone Mings, the reason I selected him is just because I think he's prone to a mistake as much as he can be. He's kind of like almost like a Serge Aurier in that regard, Dave, to me, where he can be brilliant for 89 minutes and then he'll just have one lapse of concentration, or something that's, a bit unlike him. And so I'd just say maybe we can count on that potentially for Tyrone Mings. Or if you just maybe use the likes of Harry Kane, against him, maybe Tyrone Mings might be a bit too obsessed with trying to, shut down Harry Kane. He might abandon, maybe something in behind, or, maybe expose his own defense. So I would just say Tyrone Mings is the other one. And then Matty Cash, like I brought up before, as a player to target in terms of, overlapping runs. I would say it's really hard to target Matty Cash, but if we find success, maybe making Matty Cash's day a lot harder, definitely will have good result.
No, 100%. I can definitely see it coming.
And there it is, everybody. There it is.
Well, there you are, guys. We've reached the end of the show. I have to say, all credit must go to Jack for this. He gets all the information, puts all the animations together and everything else. So, guys, big up. A lot of credit go to Jack. And Jack, a lot of people in here actually saying, you should be a coach.
Really appreciate you.
In superb analysis. And then here's one from KO Pram. He says, first time watching an analysis from this channel. It's superb and a very deep analysis. Hopefully your channel really gets big in the future. Really appreciate it, my man. Really appreciate it. But everybody, do give your love to Jack for this show. It's unbelievable. Honestly, the amount of work that goes into it is absolutely incredible. You have no idea. It takes hours. Sometimes it takes about 6, 7, 8 hours for this to be put together and put out there.
This one I kind of rushed through a bit. I'll admit, like this one I even kind of rushed through a bit. So it's not even maybe my proudest of work, I would say. I felt like, like always, after when doing this, I feel like an expert on the other team, Dave. But I would say, usually I do a lot better with the animations, and whatnot. But I really do appreciate the support that everyone is giving. I really do appreciate it. And as you'll see it every week, everybody. So in case you're new to this channel, in case you're seeing this for the first time, and you'll be catching it every week. So if you feel like you walked in a bit late or whatnot, I know we kind of did it a bit earlier than usual. just let you know, it's always going to be here for every Premier League match.
No, 100%. Every Premier League game, guys, it's always going to be here. So spread the word, get people to tune in, guys. And as well, like I said, everyone, send me on your number in email or Twitter or whatever. All my and Jack's social medias are below. We're going to start an Irish Hotspur group chat if any of you guys would like to be in it. William Kelly says, Jack, very good work, mate. Wish Nuno was watching this, but sadly, I think not. Probably watching tapes of Alli and Easy Pass drooling over it. Yeah, he's probably sitting there with the lad in hand, to be honest with you, William Kelly. Looking at Winks to a sideways movement. Looking at Dele Alli trying to do a step over or a little flick. I've had enough of it. Look, if Jack can sit here and do the information on his own, and get this prepared for a Saturday, well, what sort of tactics are they issuing at Tottenham Hotspur for these players to be looking over? I have no idea. I have no idea whatsoever. And Jack's been spot on the last few weeks with it. Spot on with how games have panned out and everything else. But big up, William. I really appreciate
you, William. Really do appreciate you. Really do appreciate you.
And Dark Song G says, I'm still waiting for a Reggie and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Tanganga goal. Look, as soon as they come, Dark Song G, you'll be going as mad as me. I was raging Pierre-Emile Højbjerg did score last season against Liverpool because we were so far down, and then Harry Winks going over to celebrate ruined it for me. I'm dying for a Tanganga one. And I would like a Reggie one as well, to be fair.
Most goal-creating actions, though, Reggie. He's actually has the most goal-creating actions for us and some of the most shot-creating actions as well, though. So Reggie, to a degree, as much as he's been exposed, kind of defensively, it's actually one of our best players going forward. So, you do have to take that into consideration. Again, even the goal that we scored against Arsenal, it was Reggie that played that ball in.
100%. Tim Man 007s, do you think we'll lose tomorrow? Then Nuno should go. But Tim Man 007, we're back at 9:30. That's one of my questions. Make sure you tune in, my man. But look, before we go anywhere, Jack, give the Flat Cap Euro Talk, your home, give it a plug and let people know why they should get over there and subscribe in their droves.
Listen, guys, if any of you enjoyed maybe some of the analysis that I gave, if any of you enjoyed, some of the tactical bits that I gave, certainly you can catch me on over at flatcapeurotalk. We'll be maybe a little bit, not as, in depth about, Spurs. It'll actually just be me kind of talking about other teams to other players. And the thing that I'm kind of trying to shift gear towards everybody is actually these scout reports, because I actually really do enjoy making them. The scout reports actually allow me then to become I like to be an expert on either another team or a player or whatnot. This allows me to be an expert on other players. And I really loved the support that everybody's been giving those scout reports. It does seem like everybody's been enjoying it. Even people that don't follow the channel have been really enjoying it and have been watching it. And also as well, maybe allows me to, maybe watch highlights, which I do. I'm kind of a bit of an AS comps, Brazil scout kind of fiend when it comes to certain players. So I will say, if you like highlight reactions, if you like, scout reports, especially if there are certain players that you really feel like Spurs should have gone for, that's why you should go over to that channel, because, maybe players like, Moussa Diaby to Anthony from Ajax to, of course, Lee Kang-in, that we did a scout report on, Kim Min-jae, the center back that we definitely should have gone for. Pretty much the list is endless. And so that's why I really would like everybody to head on over to Flat Cap Euro Talk so they don't miss any of those scout reports. As well, Shamu, who's a huge legend of this channel, he's going to be joining me for all the itches of the week. As well, I'm going to have Shamu and join me for a bit of my weekend watch list, which I produce every week. Weekend watch list, which did come out last Friday or yesterday. It's kind of like this thing where I give you 5 games that you should be looking at this weekend. Maybe 5 matches that you either going to recover with, or maybe 5 matches that you kind of get rid of the nerves for, you might say. And Shamu will be joining me for that as well. If you like Shamu, if you appreciate him, he'll be joining me for some of those kind of shorter videos and, really help me out and make my life a bit easier in that regard. Also, because the chemistry is there between us. And so there you go, everybody. Please, please, please head on over to Flat Cap Euro Talk. Would really appreciate the support over there. It's growing very, very quickly. Really do appreciate all the love that I've been getting from the channel, especially from Para Miguel Escoberto, from Zanuska, real legends, really, especially them. Adam, the Spurs 72. David's been over there. Kuva 99, of course, has been over there. I mean, the list is now endless, and I really do appreciate all the support that I've already received. Do believe that. I really am grateful for all the support that I've already received over there. Appreciate you all.
No, 100%, guys. Big push for 400 is on over there. Let's see if we can make another small dent into it today. If there's anybody around that wants to do it, the link for the channel, it is in the description below, guys. So just click on it, get over there, smash that subscribe. But look, guys, we'll see you back here in about 25 minutes for the preview tonight. It's myself, Jack. We have a new guy on tonight, so hopefully we're testing him out. Let's see how he gets on. Potentially Philip as well. I'm not 100% sure. But, guys, see you back here at 9:30, which is 25 minutes time. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you smash that subscribe button if you're new. Thank you, the Harris Army, for tuning in. Thank you so much for the support with the super chats and everything else. And look, guys, until 9:30, I'll see you soon. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.